Did Huggy Wuggy really died? Huggy may not have died, and in fact we have a few pieces of evidence supporting this theory. I'll share them with you and held straight into the topic, so don't forget to watch until the end to not miss any details. Liking the video can help me make more theory videos. Only a small portion of viewers subscribe to me, so subscribe to Catnap Deep Sleep to stay updated on future videos. Let's correct the mistake right away. The Huggy Wuggy we see in Chapter 3 is not the original Huggy Wuggy, instead it's Nightmare Huggy Wuggy that we see through the effects of Catnap's gas. In other words, we are experiencing hallucinations due to the red gas, and we are being chased by Huggy Wuggy, resulting in a delicious jump scare. I love the fact that the fame obliges us to experience jump scares. The reason I mention this event is to guarantee that I won't present you with a simple and silly theory like Huggy Wuggy didn't die, because we saw him in Chapter 3. Now let's delve into the topic more thoroughly to correctly answer why Huggy Wuggy didn't die. We need to focus on his past. How did Huggy Wuggy die? We caused Huggy Wuggy, the most beloved character in Poppy Playtime, to fall by dropping a box on his head. However, technically we have no evidence that Huggy died, and the most interesting parts begins right here. In Chapter 2, Mommy Longlegs was the main antagonist, and we witnessed her demise as well as Wang's and the Six's takeover of her. In Chapter 3 we saw our main character Catnap being taken over by Experiment 1006 or Prototype, and we had evidence. If you noticed, in all chapters Prototype gave hers all the main characters, but in Chapter 1 we didn't see any evidence of Prototype taking Huggy Wuggy. The theory begins right at this point because they left it open-ended. We only saw him fall into a gap. Now let's add one more piece of information. In the factory, defective toys are not allowed, but Huggy Wuggy could have survived though the fall without getting damaged, because we didn't see any evidence of any parts of him being damaged. In her speech in Chapter 3, Poppy said, "You killed Huggy, and you killed Mommy," which momentarily made me think, okay, it's confirmed that Huggy died, but then I got, why do we trust Poppy's words after all? If Poppy knew everything, she could have predicted the train accident beforehand, but she didn't. This means that Poppy doesn't know everything. Perhaps she also thinks that Huggy died, and will be just as surprised by his comeback. After months of Chapter 2 being released, we had the opportunity to hack the game and take a closer look at the walls. It's at this point that we can see that the area in Chapter 2 is actually where Huggy Wuggy fell in Chapter 1. The blue fur and blood on the wall serve as evidence of Huggy falling to this point. Once we have obtained solid evidence, the theory part begins here. When we descend and look, we should note that this area is empty with no signs of blood whatsoever on the ground. At this point we must acknowledge that if Prototype had somehow caught Huggy, the place would be in a disastrous state, because in both Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 whenever we sees the main character being caught, the surrounding are in a huge mess. Bro, Prototype doesn't work cleanly. We can understand that from here. If we turn to my theories, which I developed after the release of Chapter, they are as follows. The first theory came up with after Chapter 3 seemed very logical to me, because we saw in Chapter 3 that the pipes are interconnected, allowing the items to be transferred through them. At that time we hadn't considered the pipes as anything significant, but now that there are pipes interconnected underneath this area. In this theory, Ollie might have somehow aided Huggy Wuggy and sent him something to use through these pipes. The second theory revolves around the possibility of Huggy Wuggy climbing into these pipes and escaping from there on his own. Huggy might have found himself in a difficult situation, leaving him with no choice but to escape on his own. The third theory is that Prototype actually killed him at this point. This area we wouldn't see without hacking was not given much attention by Mob Entertainment, because ordinary players would never see this part, so developers left this area empty without much concern. What do you think about this? Do you think Huggy really died? Don't forget to write your comments below, and remember to like for more theories. Bye.